Greetings, everyone. This is another edition of Terry Talks Nutrition. Welcome to our program today, and I think we'll have a very, very nice lineup of information and topics for you. As always, we're here every Saturday and Sunday morning from 8 o'clock till 9 o'clock Central Standard Time, and we're here to share, and that's what our job is, to share information with you so that you can make better choices for better health. As always I say, you and I are the only ones responsible for our health and can make a difference in our health. Drugs do not. Drugs do not instill health. Drugs are necessary when there's an emergency or a crisis, but drugs do not cure anything. And drugs do not make us healthy, nor do doctors. And I'm not saying that to criticize doctors. They just don't have the training and the education on health and nutrition. Their education is on surgery and drug therapy. Doctors know everything about drug therapy, nothing about health. And we are here just to share information with you so that you can make better choices. All this information is supported by scientific evidence and documentation. I don't make it up. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a chemist. I just do a lot of research that you don't have time for, I assume, and you don't maybe want to. So we have a lot of time spent on research, looking for the information that may help you. You can do it yourself. There are scientific websites that you can subscribe to, that you can find that are free of charge, government websites on scientific studies that you could get to yourself if you wanted to. But we like to cut that short and bring it to you so you don't have to do all that. And so today, some of our topics are a really foundational supplement. Not for you, but for your dog. We're going to talk about your dog today, at least for the first part of our program. And then we're going to tell you what I believe, this is my opinion, my favorite ingredients to improve the health of your immune system. And we'll talk about that shortly. We'll talk about the effects of sugar on your liver, not alcohol. We used to have a fatty liver disease, cirrhosis of the liver, caused by alcohol. And now it's caused by sugar. Everyone thinks that sugar is innocent. And there is some need for sugar. There is not. There is nothing good about sugar. And you can find sugar in almost every packaged foods you buy. And the coffee drinks that people buy are loaded with sugar. Soft drinks are loaded with sugar. In fact, the amount of sugar we consume today has gone up almost from 6 pounds of sugar per year in the early 1900s to 250 pounds of sugar today, per year, per individual. And I bet some people are eating more than that because it's on a national average. And there are many people like probably you and me who do not eat sugar. So somebody else is eating our sugar average. And can stress make your hair fall out? And why you should love eggs daily. They're a superfood. Eggs are one of the most highly nutritious foods you can eat. Well, we have a lot more scheduled, but we never get through all of our schedule anyway, so let's just get on with the program. And let's start off with, what can you do nutritionally? And the best foundational supplement for your dog. This is a supplement that has basic benefit for every dog, no matter what kind of dog. The average dog's lifespan is about 10 to 15 years. My dog, Bella, a little Australian Shepherd, little female, will be turning 12 this year. I lost my other Australian Shepherd, Buddy, to cancer a few months ago. So Bella and I are still struggling with the loss of Buddy. But smaller dogs live longer than big dogs, and that's the case with Buddy and Bella. Bella's a little female. She weighs about 70 pounds. Buddy was a much bigger dog. He weighed up to 110 pounds. And unfortunately, most commonly reported causes of death for dogs is cancer. And the second cause is just old age. And number 3 is heart problems. The same things that help people live a longer life can also help dogs live a longer life too. And what does that mean? Well, the things that we should be doing to improve the longevity, our longevity, so we live longer and healthier. I know people say, well, I don't want to live long if I have to live like I am now. Well, why do you live like you are now? Change that. Your lifestyle creates your health. The things you do every day influences the quality of your health, good or bad. So if you are living a certain lifestyle over and over and over again, and you don't like the outcome, well, then I think that means you need to change how you live over and over again to change the outcome. So for dogs or humans, maintain a healthy weight. One of the biggest factors being over fat, and 91% of Americans are overly fat, and 50% of the population, or just under, I should say, not exactly 50, but anywhere from 42 to 49%, depending on the individual, are obese. And that brings along with many different diseases. Heart disease, diabetes, cancer, all based on how fat you are. It's just not being out of shape. It's just not being breathless. It's just not being hard to walk upstairs. It means you are sick. It means you are creating many diseases: high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, heart disease, arthritis, all because of being excessively overweight. So you want to maintain a healthy weight for your dog as well. And make sure that dog gets plenty of exercise like we should, and eat healthy food like we should. So our dogs are no different than us in maintaining good health. So there are 3 important nutrients for all dogs. First of all, you want them to reduce the inflammation that is caused by a bad diet for dogs and a lifestyle that we choose for the dog, that we choose for ourselves. So we want them to have an anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer, reduction of arthritis and hip dysplasia, and reduced liver problems and cancer prevention. Well, how do we do that? The combination of curcumin and boswellia. The same for us. I've talked endlessly, and I will continue to talk endlessly about curcumin and boswellia. They are very powerful anti-inflammatory compounds. They're anti-cancer. They reduce the risk and the symptoms of arthritis. If not too much damage is done, it can restore the cartilage in the joints. But if the cartilage is all worn away, it's too late. But you'll still reduce the pain of associated of bone-on-bone or severe arthritis with curcumin and boswellia. And there are studies that shows these two herbs for dogs and for humans reduce arthritic conditions as effectively as drugs such as Celebrex or other medications that doctors tend to prescribe, like diclofenac sodium. Voltaren is one of the drugs. Celebrex is one of the drugs. Curcumin and boswellia in studies, clinical studies on humans, have shown that curcumin and boswellia is as effective as either one of those drugs. And the bonus you get when you use curcumin and boswellia, there are no side effects. With Voltaren, diclofenac sodium, and Celebrex, there are many, many side effects. So choose curcumin and boswellia for your dog as well. And then your dog also needs omega fatty acids, omega-3. Clinical studies. Fearful and aggressive dogs receiving supplemental omega-3 fatty acids showed significant reduction in destructiveness, fearfulness, and inappropriate elimination. Dogs need oils, as we do. These are essential fatty acids, like omega-3, omega-6, omega-9, omega-7, omega-5. All of these fatty acids are critical, and we can't get enough of them from our food. And as a bonus, omega fatty acids are helpful for preventing dry skin, dull coats, and dandruff, and itching, as well as aiding in focus and impulse control. Probiotics is my third choice. Good bacteria. As we need good bacteria in our gut, dogs need good bacteria in their gut. And the good bacteria helps the dogs digest food and absorb nutrients more effectively, just as it would for us. It reduces gas. Have you ever been in a room with a gassy dog? Ooh, not pretty. You want to leave the room quickly. Luckily, I have never had my little Bella have a gassy, but I give her probiotics. It reduces the gas and helps control intestinal inflammation, like inflammatory bowel disease, IBS, IBD, Crohn's disease, colitis. All these things that happen to us can happen to your dog. So we want to take care of our dogs as well as we should take care of ourselves. Now, those are my 3 top choices for dogs. If your dog has a tendency to have arthritis or hip dysplasia, then curcumin and boswellia. Curcumin is very poorly absorbed in dogs, as well as humans. So blending the curcumin with turmeric essential oils can boost the absorption in your dog by 700%. Absorption is the key to results. I don't care how much you take of something, even if you take 10 times more than the label suggests, if you don't absorb it, it does nothing. Doesn't make any difference what you take or how much you take. It's how much you absorb, how much you get into the bloodstream. The key is absorption. And the essential oil will help to increase curcumin absorption by 7 times, 700%. So give your dogs about 500 milligrams of standardized curcumin and boswellia combination daily. Ideal for prevention and treatment of arthritis and hip dysplasia. I've seen what I would say an older looking dog kind of displaying the same symptoms of the elderly in humans. And in weeks or a couple of months after being on curcumin and boswellia, they're running around like a young puppy. And then we want to give them the omega fatty acids for skin and coat. About 4.6 grams of organic plant oils, plus cod liver oil, ideal for dogs. And this could be used for behavioral problems, like 4 grams of omega fatty acids and peptides from salmon. These are ideal for your animals, pets. And then probiotic. Everyone needs a probiotic. That helps you to have, and your dog, to have the best intestinal tract and absorption of digested foods. So here is my picks. I want a strong immune system. We have what is called the innate immune system. That means it comes with our body. When we're born with an immune system. It's the system that is like a radar system. Like we have an army that protects our country. And it has a radar system. And it has a anti-missile system. And it has a lot of other protective measures to protect our country against invasion. Our body has an army. And it's called the immune system. And it has a lot of weapons that can fight foreign invasions of a virus or bacteria or a fungus. Any foreign substance that can do harm to our body is recognized by the immune system, and the immune system goes on the defense, or I should say probably on the offense, and stops that virus, blocks that virus, prevents that virus from residing in our body and causing side effects. Now, not once did I hear being healthy and having a healthy immune system will prevent COVID-19 or reduce the symptoms of COVID-19. And there are some very, very critical nutrients that can help support the immune system. If we're sleeping 3 hours a night or 5 hours a night when we should be getting 8 to 9 hours of sleep, if we're eating a lot of junk food, if we're overly fat, if we're obese, we're not building up a very healthy immune system, and our army is torn down to a point where it can't function. So our immune system isn't helping us protect our body from the invasion of a foreign substance. Now, you can do a vaccine if that's your choice. You can do drugs if that's your choice. But we also need a healthy immune system, regardless. So we should work hard to make our immune system as healthy as it can be, to give us the best protection possible. And if you still want to do a vaccine, fine. If you want to, whatever is your choice. Talk to your doctor. Decide what is the best for you. So we should be taking some very, very good quality nutrients that can make our bodies healthier. Now, this is my personal opinion. I can show you the research why I've chosen these, but these 4 ingredients that I'm going to talk to you about are my favorite. I know the Army has a large arsenal of weapons. And I have my favorite arsenal of herbs, with one exception. One is called a non-herb molecule, and I suggest this for prevention and the treatment of any viral, bacterial, or fungal infections. And these are the following in the order of importance based on my research. There are 4 that I really, and I take all 4 of these every day. I don't want my immune system to break down when I need it most, so I prepare it to keep it healthy. The first one is Andrographis. It's an herb that grows primarily in Asia. India. Probably 75% of all Ayurvedic herbal medicines contain Andrographis. I'll spell that for you. A like apple, N like Nancy, D like David, R-O-G like George, R-A, P like Peter, H-I-S, Andrographis. Andrographis contains key compounds called andrographolides. These are the key compounds. Now, there are some Asian countries who have grown up with Andrographis as part of their treatment program. Just recently, Thailand has approved Andrographis for the treatment of COVID-19. I was just recently in the Maldives on a little holiday, and in our room there was a poster informing us that Andrographis could be a possible treatment and prevention of COVID-19. And there are many studies that shows Andrographis has many, many other. In fact, it's an all-in-one solution for most problems that we have today. It is one of the most important herbs for cold and flu. Well, of course, antiviral. Cold and flu are caused by a virus, not bacteria. So if you have a cold and flu, getting an antibiotic does nothing. And many doctors still prescribe antibiotics if you have a cold or flu. It's only a placebo. Most people think, oh, my doctor gave me an antibiotic. Oh boy, I'm going to be better. Well, because you think you're better, you will be better. But it does not do anything to stop a viral or fungal infection. They're all caused by a virus. Bacterial, yes. But cold and flu is not from a bacteria. It's from a virus. Andrographis is one of the best treatments for fatty liver disease and arthritis. Andrographis is a huge tonic for the body. Now, this is an herb that I respect very, very highly. You don't need a lot of Andrographis to make it work. In fact, there are just I just ran across 2 studies how antigraphis is used for the treatment of colon cancer as effectively as medication. In fact, it outperformed medication. Now, the second one of my top choices is going to surprise you, I'm sure, and that is melatonin. Melatonin, many people think, oh, that's for sleep. Yes, because it has been used for several decades as an aid to sleep. But melatonin has over 28,000 studies that shows that it is a treatment and prevention of almost every health complaint or condition you could ever imagine. And just to give you a little idea, I wrote a book on antigraphis. And I'm just finishing the book on melatonin. But just to give you an idea, in fact, I think the best combination would be to take the two together, antigraphis and melatonin. Now, melatonin is a molecule. It is not a hormone. It's a molecule that is released upon darkness, when light diminishes. The pineal gland in our brain releases melatonin. And melatonin is a molecule that protects every function in our body. If you want to read my books, you can go to Amazon, where you can get them as an ebook or paperback, or if you have Kindle Premium, you can get it free. So antigraphis is probably what I would say is the natural answer to all disease. It protects us against cold and flu, upper respiratory tract infections, that's what COVID is, joint pain and arthritis, diabetes, heart disease, liver disease, cancer, and much, much more. It is a remarkable compound, and it is called an adaptogen. There are no side effects. It's also very good for improving brain function. You know, it's almost impossible to understand the power of antigraphis. This is an adaptogen. And this adaptogen shines as part of a unique class of plant medicinals that provide what your body needs to survive and fight today's illnesses and diseases. It's also called the King of Bitters. And I'm going to pause here, my friends, because I'm running out of time in this segment. We're going to pause. Don't go away. We're just going to pause for a few seconds for some station identification and maybe some commercials or whatever it might be. But we'll come right back here right after this on Terry Talks Nutrition. This is Terry Naturally. And we're back, my friends. This is Terry Naturally with another segment of our program called Terry Talks Nutrition, where you can listen live to our radio show that you are listening to right now, maybe either locally or maybe you are listening live someplace around the world. We have listeners in Australia, in the UK, in India, everywhere around the world. It's amazing. We have over 200,000 listeners and viewers and followers of Terry Talks Nutrition. And we're going to try to make that up to 1 million members, and it's all free. You can get all this information for nothing. But I was just talking about my 4 favorite herbs for health. And we talked about antigraphis, which is also called the King of Bitters, because of its use as a bitter tonic in Ayurvedic and traditional Chinese medicine. In fact, it's also being used in China for the treatment of COVID-19. Antigraphis tackles almost every kind of condition, from the common cold to diseases like diabetes and heart disease, cancer, energy, stress, aging issues. That list could possibly go on for many, many more of these diseases. But you can get my book and read all about antigraphis, and I'm sure that you're going to find it's one that you want to add to your arsenal for good health. Melatonin. My book is just in the finishing stages of publication and should be out pretty shortly. But melatonin is one of those molecules that maintains good health as andrographis does. So the combination is a very powerful combination. If you do the combination and you want to take andrographis and melatonin together, I suggest you take that in the evening, because as light diminishes, that's when melatonin goes into action. That's when it gives you all the great benefits. And the next one is propolis. Propolis is a compound not made by the bees, but it's collected by the bees from trees and shrubs and buds and flowers. They're collecting the bioflavonoids, the natural compounds from these plants, to protect their hive. And they bring all this material into the hive, and they mix it with beeswax and resin into a putty or a glue. And then they seal all the cracks and crevices in the hive against contamination. If bacteria or a virus got within the hive, it would kill the entire colony, or possibly. So they make this as their immune-enhancing compound. Propolis is very, very powerful. It has tremendous benefit for maintaining immune system health. Andrographis, melatonin, propolis. Propolis has a tremendous benefit also for reducing cancer. But keep in mind, while these three nutrients maintain a healthier immune system, and they can kill off the virus or bacteria or the fungal infection, these are medicines, as well as elderberry, my fourth choice. Not my top choice, my fourth choice. And I'll tell you more about elderberry in just a moment, but keep in mind, while these four herbs, well, I should say 3 herbs, and the molecule melatonin are healthy for our immune system cannot function. These are medicines, but our immune system cannot function without sufficient levels of vitamins A, C, D3, and E, and the minerals zinc and selenium. Our immune system requires these vitamins and minerals. So I think what I do, my foundation is to take a supplement containing A, C, D3, E, zinc, and selenium. And then I add andrographis, melatonin, propolis, and elderberry. Now, you don't have to do all that at one time. I do it because I'm in the business. I know from research and all the documentation that these provide a tremendous benefit. And I want to maintain that. But also what we want to keep in mind that while all these are wonderful, fantastic natural medicines, there are some fake supplements out on the market today. Fake. That means they do not provide what is stated on the label. And this is something that really bothers me, because unless you know what you're buying, you're wasting your money and compromising your health. You're jeopardizing your health. So when you buy supplements, buy from a trusted retailer and trusted supplements. Because right now, because of COVID-19, natural supplements like andrographis, like melatonin, like propolis, and especially elderberry are in very, very high demand. There are people that, like you, who listen routinely, and you listen almost all the shows. You're my longtime listeners. But there are people that just hear a few times, maybe on Facebook, maybe from friends, oh, I'm taking elderberry. You should too. Or something like that. So these are people that have no knowledge whatsoever. They're not like you that are getting an education every week. But they just hear, oh, COVID-19, oh, I don't want that. So I'm going to buy elderberry too. So they go on Amazon and they buy products that state elderberry extract, and they really are not. They're fake. There's such a demand for these products today that the supply cannot keep up with the demand. So there's a shortage. So the shortage of these nutrients leads to increased products on the marketplace that are totally fake. Now, I've said this a couple times before, but a very well-known, very well-trusted company did a study with 25 elderberry products that were bought off store shelves, like Walmart, like Target, or Amazon, because they don't care what they sell. They just sell what's in demand. They don't do research. They just put it on the shelf. And as long as those products make enough money for the shelf space that it's allotted to, it stays there. If it doesn't sell, it's gone in days or weeks. So the shortage of these ingredients has put out a huge demand by consumers. So as the demand for elderberry, for example, actually almost cleaned out the entire elderberry in the world. And then, unfortunately, the last crop at the end of 2020 of elderberry was substandard. Very short supply. Now, I can understand that. I have about 150 berry bushes in my backyard, not of elderberry, but of aronia berry. Aronia berry is a very healthy berry for the heart. I just love them. Not because of my heart, but I just love aronia berry. And the last 2 years, in fact, last year, I did not get one berry on 150 bushes. Not one. I don't know why. I don't know if we had a spring break like we are having now, and then a frost came and killed all the buds, but I did not get one berry. And that happened with elderberry, and these elderberries are grown in Austria. They're Austrian berries, very, very high standard berries, good quality. So after looking at 25 of these products, now you have to understand elderberry, I don't know if you've ever seen elderberry, but it's almost black. The berry is black, but it's really purple, but it's almost black because it looks so deep in color. And a company was selling on Amazon a product called elderberry extract with vitamin C and vitamin D. On inspection of the capsules in this bottle, the capsules were powder. You could see through it. It was a transparent capsule. The powder was white. Elderberry is black. So what was in that capsule? Well, upon a laboratory analysis, the powder was not elderberry. It was oat flour. O-A-T, oat flour. And it also had on the label with vitamin C and vitamin D. There was no vitamin C and no vitamin D. So folks, if you don't know what you're buying, get advice. Talk to somebody. Go to a health food store retailer. Ask questions. They're more reliable for what they put in their store because they're local, because they have to answer to you, because they don't want to lose you as a customer. There's a reason to help you. There's nobody at Amazon to help you. Unless you know a great company that is available on Amazon and you trust them, okay, buy them. But if you just are buying by name and by the cheapest product you can find, you are being taken more than likely than not. So as the demand for elderberry and other immune-boosting ingredients has exploded, cheaters, shysters, I could think of a lot more words for those people, because they are hurting you, taking your money and cheating you, and you don't even know it. So shop locally. Cheaters are pushing fake products, poor quality, into the marketplace. And if you don't understand those products, you buy them only because of the name elderberry and vitamin C and vitamin D. I heard they're all great for me. They are, if you got a really high quality, a real good product and not a fake. There are fake products on the marketplace. Quality testing facilities are reporting diluted, weak materials, meaning they're putting a little bit in, but not the right amount. Some elderberry samples contain no elderberry, no key compounds that are found in elderberry that are called the anthocyanins. They're not there at all. So the American Botanical Council, ABC, is a nonprofit research and educational foundation, and they just recently reported that 11% of the hundreds of elderberry products they recently tested were subpotent or adulterated with other ingredients. So the first clue that you're getting a substandard product is a ridiculously low price. Unfortunately, good quality products are a higher price. Don't try to save money because you know the most expensive product on the marketplace is the cheapest product you can buy that does nothing for your health. So if you buy a product for $2 or $3 and you think you got something of value, you get what you pay for. Genuine Austrian elderberry, standardized to about 12% anthocyanins, as was stated on some labels, cannot be bought for $1.99 a bottle, which they have been selling a product like that for $1.99. You better think about $20 or $30 for a quality product. So now, here's what you need to do. Identify a reputable company or companies that are committed to quality testing is more important than ever before. So you want to boost your immune system? You want to protect yourself from the virus, COVID-19? You want to be healthy? And then you want to buy a product for $1.99? Not going to work, my friends. It's the truth. So build up your immune system. It is your natural vaccine. Your body makes it. Now, when they give you a vaccine, and my opinion on the vaccine is right, I'm a little bit afraid to take the vaccine. We have no research. Many vaccines that have been put on the market in the past were researched for 10 to 20 years. And they do have a wonderful benefit for many parts of the world. But this vaccine has been pushed out in a matter of months. No adequate studies or research. The FDA has not approved any of these vaccines. They have been approved only for an emergency. What's going to happen in a year or two after anyone decides they take the vaccine? I think I want to build up my immune system. That's the way God intended. That's the way nature intended. Our immune system, if it's healthy, will do its job. But we have to be healthy. And that means doing the good things to create health in our body. All right, let's go on to another subject. What about the effects of sugar on your liver? Well, you know, liver disease in the past was caused by excessive alcohol. Alcoholics had liver disease, cirrhosis of the liver, which caused or could cause liver cancer and death. But now we have a condition that researchers and drug companies are trying to find a drug to treat what is called non-alcoholic. That means no alcohol, non-alcoholic liver disease. So if alcohol caused liver disease, what has replaced alcohol to cause liver disease? So researchers looked at the effects of sugar, and they saw 80 grams of added sugar. 80 grams. There's 4 grams of sugar in a teaspoon. This is 20 teaspoons of sugar, which is equivalent to 2 cans of Coke in 94 healthy young men. For 7 weeks, some of the men drank a beverage sweetened with added sugar every day. The control group did not get the drink. All the men consumed the same amount of the total daily calories. So the result of this study, fat production. Now think about this. This was a very short study. 7 weeks. And fat production in the liver doubled after consuming the sugar-sweetened drinks. And the effects on the liver were still detectable even 12 hours after sugar consumption. So, fat production. You know, when we get fat, every organ and gland in the body gets fat too. The liver is normally weighs about 4 to 5 pounds. And in some cases, because of being fat, the liver will weigh 20 pounds. As we gain weight, our liver gains weight. And we gain weight from sugar and carbohydrates, which turns to fat in the body, because it can't be used, the calories, the sugar, cannot be utilized for energy, so it's stored. And it's stored in the way of fat, and particularly triglyceride. And the fat production in the liver is the first step to fatty liver disease. Now, this is not only for adults. Many children are already being diagnosed as fatty liver disease. My friends, this is the sickest country in the world. And if we continue on the same trend, we're in for a big surprise in the next 20, 30 years. And then top it off with an unknown vaccine. Oh boy. Okay, what is the most adulterated food? And it's still number one. The number one most adulterated food. Any thoughts? What would your choice be? What is the most adulterated food in the world? The answer is olive oil. I love olive oil. And I think it's more, in fact, I don't consider it a food. I consider it to be a medicine. You know, we always talk about how healthy the Mediterranean diet is. It is high in fruits and vegetables. And it is high in seafood. They're the Mediterranean countries. They live on the best water in the world. So their diet is high in seafoods, which is great. And I try to get, I'm not a big proponent for fish myself personally, but I try to get salmon 2 or 3 times a week. Now, the best quality of olive oil is called extra virgin olive oil. Sometimes will be abbreviated to EVOO, extra virgin olive oil. It is crushed, stirred, strained, mechanically processed, but no solvents, no chemical extraction, no heat treatments, nothing that would damage the oil. The extra virgin olive oil has better flavor, higher levels of polyphenols, antioxidants, and more health benefits than low-grade olive oil. If you take a really good high-quality olive oil, not by dipping bread into it to taste it, just take it off the spoon. And if you don't get a little tickle in the back of your throat, kind of like a cough, because that is the little bit of a stinging sensation to the polyphenols. And extra virgin olive oil is not cheap. The supply is smaller than other types of oils, and the demand is increasing, so it puts a crunch on the price. But cheaters use, oh boy, we're talking about cheaters this whole program. Cheaters use lower grade, refined olive oil or substitute cheap oils like canola, olive oil, sunflower oil, or safflower seed oil to stretch the supply and make more money for themselves. These oils do not have the same antioxidants, health benefits as extra virgin olive oil, and do not have the same flavor or taste, and they go rancid very quickly. Good quality extra virgin olive oil can be stored for up to 2 years. Does not need refrigeration. In 2018, independent testing in Spain found that half of the extra virgin olive oil products tested were not extra virgin. And a previous study in the U.S. found that 69% of imported olive oil was not extra virgin olive oil, as stated on the label. Again, shop for trusted retailers. Do a little bit of research for the best oil that would benefit you, to have the health benefits that you're looking for. I take anywhere from 3 to 4, sometimes 5 tablespoons a day of olive oil. Oil does not make you fat. That does not make you fat. Sugar and carbohydrates make you fat. If you've got belly fat, it's from carbohydrates and sugar, not from protein and fats. Check out the ketogenic diet to be healthier. With that, my friends, I'm all out of time for today, but I'll be back here tomorrow on Sunday from 8 o'clock till 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. And for more information, go to terrytalksnutrition.com. Thank you for listening. Say a prayer for this crazy, insane world. God bless you, and God bless America.